Hi everyone, welcome to your Vinyasa yoga class. My name's Natalie. I'll be guiding you through it. Today we're going to be doing some fun movements, and I also like to acknowledge that yoga is more than just the physical practice. Oftentimes when we think about yoga, we think about the asanas and the poses, but yoga comes a lot deeper. Yoga goes a lot deeper than that. And one of the root philosophies around yoga is around clearing your mind of all the thoughts in it. And recently I was reading one of the old texts, the Yoga Sutras. They talk about this concept of memory. And there's all these categories of thoughts that can be swirling around in your head, but just one of them is your memory. And this is even talked about in like modern day concepts of trying to stay in the now, stay in the present moment, and working towards like, oftentimes when we feel like we're in our heads, we're either in the past or the future. And so this effort to just like stay in the present, which yoga also aligns with. So when looking at what the yoga texts say about memory, and they say to just, okay, drop the memory and just be in the now. That's like a lot easier said than done. You can't just snap your fingers and get rid of your memories. So I was just sort of thinking about this concept of the memory, and in my mind, it makes more sense to sort of acknowledge the memories and forgive them and make peace with them so that you can move forward into the present moment while also having your memories, which make up who you are, but not having them take up so much space in your head. All that to say, this concept of philosophy is just one of the many branches of yoga that exist. And yeah, we'll get into the asanas now. So we're going to start out on our backs. You can find your way down onto your mat and start to hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around them like you're giving yourself a big hug, and maybe rock a bit side to side. And just take a deep breath in. Exhale, feeling your weight sink down into the mat. Start to drop your left foot down, planting the sole of your foot on the mat, and cross your right ankle over your left knee. Option here to stay exactly where you are, or maybe reach through and grab a hold of your left thigh and hug the legs in towards you. You can also rock side to side here, find any movements that feel good. Maybe extend your left leg long above you. We're going to be getting into the lower body a lot today, your roots. And then slowly just start to let your legs fall over to the left, letting the sole of your right foot plant down on the ground. Open your arms out wide. And if it feels good, you can gaze over to the right. Just a couple breaths here in this twist. And starting to bring the knees back in through center. Drop the right foot down and cross the left ankle over the right knee. Option to stay here or take any other variations that you took on the other side. Maybe extending your right leg long. And then slowly letting your legs drop over to the right. An option to turn your head over to the left if that feels good in your neck. Starting to hug the knees back in through center, and this time grabbing behind your knees and starting to rock forward and back along the length of your spine. A few times here, and landing in a seat at the top of the mat. Letting your hands rest on your knees, maybe letting your eyes close here. And just taking a moment to acknowledge the start of your yoga practice today. And I've just got a little poem related to this whole topic of memory, I wanted to read to you. All the things that we once were coalesce, mingling into the person that we are, to those moments of passion, of bliss, of wild and free, sometimes covered up by the attention to the fine lines and corners. But can we come back to the spaces in between, those fleeting moments, and let them be? Rather than hiding from who we once were, can it add to the flavor of the meal of our life as we continue to cook it day after day, the recipe of me? And starting to take a deep breath in through the nose, exhale out of the mouth. And from here, you can, if you are taking music, you can start to play your music. I've linked the music to the class for you, and you should have access to that. And we're just going to start with some small movements of the spine, taking some circles with the torso here. So keeping your hands on your knees and just sort of spinning your upper body while staying rooted in your lower body. Finding that contrast here. If you're going in a certain direction, you can take it the other way. Staying rooted through your hips and your legs. We're finding some fluidity in the upper body. And then making your way back to center, no rush. We'll just plant the hands in front and make your way to all fours, tabletop. And actually, let's drop into a child's pose really quick here. So take the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch. And walk the hands out in front of you, dropping the forehead. And just know that throughout the class, everything I say is an offering, a recommendation, but this is really your yoga practice. So know that nothing is mandatory. And if you ever feel like it's just too much, you can always come back to child's pose. Starting to press your way up to an all fours tabletop position. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. We'll inhale, kick the right leg long behind you into the air. And on your exhale, curl the knee in towards your nose. Starting to engage your core. Inhale, kick your right leg long. Exhale, curling in. One more time, inhaling, exhaling. And this time, inhale, kick the right leg long. Option to circle the left arm forward and around. Catch a hold of your foot. If you've got the foot, really kick into the hand to open the heart. Maybe lifting the gaze. And then circle the left hand down, knee to nose, step the right foot through to the top of the mat, taking whatever adjustments you need to get there. And then grounding your left knee into the mat, lift up, reach the arms up overhead, finding our Anjaneyasana, sinking down through the hips, but lifting through the fingers. And start to circle your hands behind you, finding a clasp at your low back. Ooh, just heard my shoulders crack. So really dragging the knuckles down, lifting the heart up. And starting to let that go, shift the hips back, straighten the right leg, and flip up onto the right heel for half Hanumanasana. And here you can just let the head drop, release any tension in the neck as you bow forward over your right leg. On your next inhale, start to bend the right knee, tent the fingers, and lift the left knee up, finding a low lunge here. And we'll just step it into downward facing dog. Right foot meets the left at the back of the mat. On your next inhale, roll forward into a plank pose. And exhale, lower yourself all the way down. From here, start to extend your right arm long next to you and roll yourself onto your right side, dropping your left foot behind you. And you can keep your left hand tented in front of you for balance. Or if you're like, this is not enough sensation, you can wrap your left arm behind you too. Breathing into the shoulder here, feeling that deep stretch. And we'll come back through center, planting the hands by your shoulders, inhaling for a cobra, lifting the heart, lifting the chest. Exhale, lowering back down, and then sending it all the way back to child's pose. Coming back to the breath. Inhale, making your way up to all fours, and we'll take the other side. So inhale, kicking the left leg out behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extending long. Exhale, rounding in. One more time, inhaling. Exhale. This time, as you kick the left leg out long, maybe you extend the right arm, circle it back behind you, and open through the chest. Grounding down into the right foot and the right knee. Find stability here. One more deep breath in. Exhale, circle the right hand down, left knee to nose, and step the foot through. From here, grounding down through your legs, inhale, reach the arms up overhead, Anjaneyasana. Start to circle your hands behind you, finding the clasp at the base of your spine. Option to take the opposite clasp. I call this one the uncomfy clasp. The way you wouldn't normally hold your hands together. And from here, letting that go, extend the left leg long and drape your torso over that leg. Ardha Hanumanasana, also known as half splits. Starting to rebend in the left knee, tent the fingers at the top of the mat, and lift your right knee up. Finding a low lunge here. Step the left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward through plank. And then exhale, lowering slowly down to the mat. And this time, reach the left arm out and start to roll onto your left side body. Again, options here to keep your right hand tented in front of you, or maybe leave it behind you, finding a deeper opening in the shoulder. One more deep breath in here. And on your exhale, rolling through center. Planting the hands by your shoulders. Inhale for cobra. Floating the chest up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sending the hips up and back. Sinking the heels down towards the mat. And pressing into the pointer finger and thumb. Taking a deep breath in here. Exhale, sighing it out. Another deep breath in. And on your exhale, slowly, one step at a time, walking the feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat. No rush to get here. When you're here, you can grab opposite elbows, bend the knees deeply, and maybe just rock side to side, releasing any tension in the neck. And slowly unclasping the hands and roll all the way up to stand. Reaching the arms up overhead, Urdhva. Exhale, bringing the hands through to heart center and down by your sides, Tadasana. Maybe closing your eyes for a second here, feeling into your feet, all that energy moving up through your legs, your torso. Let's do a roll of the shoulders. Inhale, rolling them up towards the ears, and exhale, drop them back behind you, squeezing the shoulder blades together here. On an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Planting the hands in front of you, step the right foot back, low lunge, and drop the right knee down. Let's go up into Anjaneyasana, reaching the arms up overhead, and then right away, seeing if you can find that clasp of the hands behind you. Taking a deep breath in here. Exhale, half Hanuman, hinging forward. Inhale, low lunge, back knee lifts. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolls you forward through plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale the right leg long behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, you can lift the chest, look up, maybe drop the hips a little bit. And then on your exhale, gather some momentum into that front leg and step the left foot to meet the right at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, refold into that Uttanasana. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead, reaching tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, planting the hands. Step the left foot back. Anyone who just looked at the video saw me with the B situation here. Drop your left knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then circle them behind you, find a clasp. Inhaling here, lifting a little bit taller. And then exhale, half Hanuman, letting it go. Inhale, walk the hands forward, bend the right knee, low lunge, lifting the left knee up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale through plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, finding a cobra. And exhale, making your way back to downward facing dog. Either maybe pushing up through a plank pose or shifting through all fours. And once you're here, a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale the left leg high this time, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping the foot between the hands. Inhale, dropping the hips and lifting the chest. And then on your exhale, the right foot's going to meet the left at the top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, folding. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bring it through to heart center. Tadasana, hands by your sides. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. And we'll start to take this one breath per movement. Inhale, step the right foot back. Exhale, drop the knee down. Inhale, reach up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, circle the hands behind you. Inhale, one more breath here. Exhale, half Hanuman, release the hands. Inhale, bend the left knee, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale through plank. Option here, exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, pressing through the hands, lifting the heart, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling the right leg high. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, tenting your fingers maybe on your shins or the ground. Exhale, refolding. Inhale, circle it up, reaching tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the left foot back this time. Exhale, drop the knee down. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, finding the clasp behind you. Inhale, maybe you look up. Exhale, half Hanuman. Inhale, finding that low lunge again here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale through plank. Vinyasa, lowering halfway chaturanga. Maybe it's just a cobra. Finding whatever variation of a vinyasa feels good in your body. And we'll just meet in downward facing dog whenever you get there. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, dropping the hips, lifting the chest. Exhale, Uttanasana, stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refolding. Inhale, circling it up. Exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. And from here, start to bend your knees, sweep the arms up overhead, finding your chair pose. As if you're sitting back into a chair here, tucking the tailbone under, lifting the arms. Just one more breath in here. Exhale, fold forward. Planting the hands in front of you, step or hop it back, taking a vinyasa. And let's just take a deep breath in here whenever you get to downward facing dog. Exhale, sinking the hips a little bit deeper. Sinking the heels deeper. What are words today? Okay, inhale the right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping forward. Staying on the fingers, inhale, lift the chest. And then on your exhale, shift the hips up towards the sky and just straighten both legs. It's like an extended pyramid. And on your next inhale, re-bending the right knee. So you're in low lunge here, and then just lifting the torso up, reaching the arms up overhead. High lunge. So here, focusing on tucking the tailbone under, keeping a deep bend in the right knee. Reaching through the fingers. Inhaling here, growing tall. And on an exhale, circle the hands behind you, finding that familiar clasp. Seal the left foot down to the mat. And bow the torso forward so that the right shoulder is near your right thigh. We'll find a humble warrior here. And letting the hands go, we'll inhale up to warrior two. So the back toes pointed slightly forward, gazing out over the right fingers. Arms are stretched the length of the mat. On an inhale, straighten the legs and reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, press back down into warrior two, just finding a deeper bend. And on your inhale, let's sweep the right arm up, left arm down, finding a peaceful warrior here, keeping that deep bend in the right knee. On your next exhale, right arm to right thigh, reaching the left arm overhead. The lower body isn't really changing in these, so you're just sort of moving through the upper body here. Deep breath in here, reaching through the left fingers. And on your exhale, circle the left arm over your face and straighten the right leg, turning the right toes in, finding a wide-legged forward fold. You can inhale, halfway lift to lengthen the spine. Exhale, refolding into it. And options here, you can grab your ankles, walk your hands back behind you, maybe find some movement in the hips. Just finding what feels good in your body here in this pose. The key here is letting your head drop, letting your neck relax, and letting go of any tension. Starting to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders here, and curl the hands towards the front of the mat. We'll meet in low lunge, pivoting the toes forward. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling through plank, and finding your vinyasa. Let's take a deep breath in when you get to downward dog. Exhale, just letting go. Inhaling the left leg high. We'll take the other side, stepping forward. Staying on your fingers here. Inhale, lifting the chest, dropping the hips. And then exhale, just sort of opposite action. Straighten the legs, lift the hips, and drop the chest. Finding an extended pyramid. Inhale, re-bending the left knee and reaching up into high lunge this time. Finding any adjustments you need here. Maybe take the hands to the hips. Inhaling, reaching up through the fingers, and then exhale, circle the hands behind you. Peeling the heart open here. Seal the right foot down to the mat, and then just dive the chest forward, finding a humble warrior. So your left shoulder is just grazing your inner left thigh. Really grounding down through the outer edge of your right foot. And on your next inhale, float it up to warrior two, spreading the arms the length of the mat. A deep bend in your left knee, gazing out over your left fingers. On your next inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Maybe you even look up. Exhale, re-bend into the left knee, warrior two. Same but different. Inhale, the left arm up, right arm down, the back leg. Finding a peaceful warrior here. Exhale, left arm to left thigh, right arm up overhead, finding your extended side angle. Option here to take your left elbow to your left thigh. Option to reach for the ground with your left hand. If you have a block that's handy, that's another great option. Inhale, reaching through the right fingers, and then exhale, circle the right arm over the face and turn the left toes in. We'll find a prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. Maybe inhaling, halfway lift, gaining some length, and then exhale, refolding. Taking whatever feels good here. Starting to walk the hands back underneath you and crawling them towards the top of the mat. Inhaling, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Option to shift forward through plank. Take a vinyasa. Option to not take a vinyasa. Doing what feels good for your body. Deep breath in when you get here. Exhale, letting go. And we'll start to take that one breath per movement. So inhaling the right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, low lunge, lifting the chest. Exhale, extended pyramid. Inhale, reaching up, high lunge. Exhale, clasping the hands behind you. Inhale, lift the chest a little bit higher. Exhale, sealing the left foot down and bowing forward. Inhale, floating up to warrior two. Exhale, sinking into that right knee. Inhale, reaching up, straightening the legs. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful, reaching the right arm up, left arm down. Exhale, extended side angle. Cartwheel the hands the other way. Inhale here. Exhale, circle the left arm over the face, turn the right toes in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding in. Crawling the hands forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, shifting forward. Plank, Vinyasa. Inhaling the left leg high. We'll go straight to the other side here. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, extended pyramid. Inhale, rebend the left knee, high lunge, lifting up. Exhale, circle the hands behind you. Inhale here. Exhale, seal the right foot down. Pour the torso forward. Humble warrior. Inhale, release the hands. Warrior two. Inhale, lifting up, reaching up. Exhale, pressing back down. Warrior two. Inhale, peaceful, tilting back. Exhale, extended side angle towards the front. Inhale, reaching through the right fingers. Exhale, circle the right arm over the face. Prasarita. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refolding. And starting to walk the hands forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Plank, Vinyasa. And let's meet in a child's pose. Walking the knees out wide, bringing the big toes to touch. Forehead to the mat. Reconnecting to the breath here. Maybe noticing how this child's pose feels different than the first one in class. Maybe it's different in your body. Maybe your mind feels a little bit different. Just noticing. And slowly, as you feel ready, starting to make your way back to downward facing dog. Sending the hips up and back, sinking the heels towards the ground. And we'll keep moving, inhaling the right leg high behind you, but adding on here, stepping forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, extended pyramid. Inhale, rebending in your right knee, reaching up, high lunge. Exhale, circling the hands behind you. Inhale, sealing the left foot down. And then exhale, bowing forward. And from here, it's going to be a little bit different. So keeping the hands clasped, just start to straighten the right leg and pivot the right toes in, heading straight into that prasarita with a shoulder opener. And then letting the hands go. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, grounding down through the feet to press through them to lift up. On your inhale, reaching the arms high. Exhale, pivot the right toes forward, warrior two. Inhale, reach the right arm up, peaceful. Exhale, extended side angle. Option to find a half bind here. Maybe reaching the left arm behind you. Option to stay here. Maybe you reach for full bind, diving the right arm under the right thigh. From here, you can pop the left foot to meet the right. Find a bird of paradise. Just practicing that inner listening, noticing what your body needs right now. We'll all eventually meet back in that extended side angle, circling both hands down to frame the right foot, meeting in a low lunge, wherever you're at. And then planting the right hand in the top right corner of your mat, gathering some momentum to move your weight into that right foot. We're going to shift into Ardha Chandrasana. So sometimes it helps to start this pose with your left hand on your left hip for stability. And it should feel kind of like you're leaning up against a wall behind you. In one plane, you're sort of balancing on your right side. From here, your left arm extended overhead. Circle that hand down to the mat and step your left foot down next to the right. Just a forward fold here. Shake it off. Maybe bend the knees. And then let's do an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refolding. And starting to bend your knees, sweep the arms up overhead, finding a chair pose. We're not here for very long. Shifting your weight into the right foot. Start to lift your left toes off the mat and cross left ankle on top of the right knee. Sinking back into your chair here. So it should feel kind of like this opposition, your hips towards the back and your chest towards the front. Option to stay here or maybe drop your hands towards the mat. We got all the options in this class. If you want to go for the arm balance, you can, wrapping your left toes around your right arm and then starting to rest your weight from your left shin basically entirely onto the backs of your elbows. Walking your right foot back and leaning forward into your hands. And wherever you're at, we'll lift up halfway, meeting back in that initial figure four chair. And taking your left hand to your left hip, just use your right hand to sort of coax your right foot up into a half lotus here. So the top of your left foot will be in the right hip crease. I'll shift forward so you can see. And if you feel like you've got your stability here, you can take your left hand to heart center, finding some point to focus in on to keep your balance. I just saw a dog move in the distance. Make sure the point you're focusing on is not alive. Okay, starting to shift out of this pose and into the next one, we're gonna basically swap out the hands. So you're gonna take a hold of your left big toe with your left peace sign fingers and take your right hand to your right hip. And then start to open up the left leg. Option here to have hold of your toes. Option also to just grab a hold of your left knee. So find what feels good. And then you can start to open the right arm out to the right. It's a very open pose, saying like, welcome. And from here, you're just gonna step the left foot down, drop the arms by your sides. We'll find Tadasana, shake it off. And then bending the knees, sweep the arms up. We're gonna find another chair pose. Bear with me. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, sinking the hips. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, sinking a little deeper. A little deeper. A little deeper until you come all the way down to the mat. Maybe it's a plop. And once you get here, we're gonna find Gomukhasana. So you're gonna take your left leg and cross it around so that your left foot is near your right hip. Near being the key word, different in everyone's bodies. And then cross your right leg over the top so that your right foot is near your left hip. And this pose is called Gomukhasana, which translates to cow face pose. And if you look down at yourself, it kind of looks like your feet can kind of look like cow ears. So, context, yes. And then we'll take the arms here, reaching the right arm up, and then circle the left arm back behind you. You can grab for your shirt or your own hand. And option here to just start to drop down into it. Letting your torso fall forward over the top leg. Starting to slowly lift up from that, release the arms. And then keeping the legs as they are, start to walk your hands over to the left, sort of following the top leg. And you're just going to sort of spin around to a downward dog to the back of the mat. If somehow you got confused or lost on your way, just meet me in downward dog at the back of the mat. Okay, we'll take the other side here. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, extended pyramid. Inhale, reaching up high lunge. Exhale, finding your clasp. Inhale, sealing the right foot down. And then exhale, pour it forward, finding a humble warrior. From here, you're just going to straighten the left leg and pivot the toes in. Prasarita. Hanging upside down here. Release the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And on your exhale, grounding down through the feet, finding that energy to inhale, rise up. And then exhale towards the left toes, warrior two, to the back of the mat. Inhale, peaceful, left arm is up. Exhale, extended side angle. Option to find a half bind here. Spiraling the heart open towards the ceiling. Option for a full bind. Sometimes the challenge is taking the pose that your body needs, not taking the hardest pose. Rolling back and an extended side angle, releasing the right arm out, and then circling it down. Hands frame the left foot. And from here, start to tent the left fingers in the top left corner of the mat, gathering the momentum to shift the weight into your left foot. Ardha Chandrasana. Again, option to grab your right hip if that feels more stable here. Kicking up through the right leg. And really leaning back into this. One more deep breath here, and then circling the right hand down, right foot down, forward fold at the back of the mat. And just shake it out. Okay, inhale, bending the knees, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Shifting the weight into your left foot, cross right ankle over left knee. And sinking down into that figure four chair. From here, option to plant the hands down, going into the arm balance. And wherever you're at, we'll meet back in the figure four chair. And taking your right hand to the right hip, sliding your right foot up towards the left hip crease, finding that half lotus pose here, finding that balance. And then starting to swap out the hands, taking the left hand to the left hip, taking the right hand either to the right big toe or to the right knee. Either way, opening that leg out to the right. And then let's just let that go. Tadasana, dropping the foot down. And then we'll head towards the mat. Inhale, reaching the arms up, bending the knees, chair pose. From here, sinking the hips lower, 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 all the way down. And this time, crossing the right leg underneath, left leg on top. We'll find Gomukhasana. Reaching the left arm up, circling the right arm back. Inhaling here, and then exhale, sort of melting into yourself. Starting to release the arms, lifting back up. And then just following the left leg over to the right, walking the hands all the way around to the top of the mat, downward facing dog. Option for one last vinyasa here before we start to slow it down. And we're going to do a three-legged dog with the right leg, sliding into pigeon pose. So the right shin will be somewhat parallel to the top of the mat, right knee behind your right wrist, right ankle behind your left wrist. And just staying lifted for a second here, finding maybe a back bend, maybe circling the left arm behind you, bending the left knee, and finding that left foot for mermaid pose. Maybe you find the bind from Gomukhasana here. Wherever you're at, one last breath in, looking up, and then walking the hands forward. Maybe you stay on your forearms. Maybe you find a block. Maybe another good option here is to bring one fist on top of the other and rest your forehead down on it. Find what feels good. And just come back to your breath here. As we start to slow down the poses, that's when the mind starts to speed up generally. So if you notice your thoughts swirling here, notice maybe if you're in the past or in the future, just bring yourself back into the now. And start to walk the hands back up. Lean over to the right and just circle the left leg around and in front of you. The sole of the right foot into the left thigh. And we'll take a Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, folding forward over the left leg. Allowing gravity to do the work here. Feeling the torso drift further and further towards the left leg. And slowly rolling up. We'll start to take the other side. So you can just cross your left shin in front of you and lean over to the left. Extend the right leg long behind you. And find pigeon on the left side. Finding a back bend here. And maybe circling the right arm behind you. Grabbing for that foot. Maybe finding that Gomukhasana arms. maybe not. Wherever you're at, just knowing this is exactly where you should be. And we'll take one more breath, lift it up here. And lowering down towards the mat. Starting to walk your hands back towards you, leaning over to the left and circling the right leg around. Taking the left foot into the right thigh. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, folding forward. Slowly starting to roll back upright. As we're moving closer to Shavasana, deepening the breath. Extending both legs in front of you, reaching the arms up. Do one last fold here. And as you roll out of this, find yourself rolling all the way down onto the mat, onto your back. Hugging the knees into the chest. We'll do a quick twist here, dropping the knees over to the left. Extending the arms out long by your sides. And maybe gazing over to the right. Deep breath all the way down into the hips. And hugging the knees back through center. We'll take the other side, dropping them over to the right and gazing over to the left. Maybe at this point, you have your eyes drifting shut, Starting to bring the knees back through center. Giving yourself a big squeeze here. If you need anything else before Shavasana, feel free to take whatever poses. And eventually, we'll all meet sprawled out on our mats. Maybe let the arms open a little bit here. Give yourself some space between the feet. Tucking the shoulder blades under. And let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, sighing it out. Slowly starting to come back to the breath here. Maybe finding some deeper breaths. So coming back into the room, noticing any noises around you. Starting to step each foot down into the mat. And making your way up to a seat, however feels good for you. And we'll unclasp with just a collective breath together. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sighing out of the mouth. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.